So I just push the button of record, and so I want to introduce our meeting. The point is, it was my initiative. I start to connect with my clients and partners in the special activity, special marathon, entrepreneur and self-isolation. And so this live, it's like a special event. We want to share ideas and exchange our ideas with our friend. Me and Igor are members of the big association, $1 Million Round Table, and we visit United States and Canada several times. And today, my guest, Michael Morrow. He's a famous financial advisor, Morrow. Famous, yes. And he author of the very interesting book, by the way. Just a second. Michael, ideas for financial advisors, because Michael was a speaker of a lot of activities in different countries. The biggest, it seems to me, was 10,000 people on the one roof on Indonesia. Yes, am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
And Michael carefully collected a lot of pieces of advice for financial advisors. Moreover, in 2012, he was our guest, and me and Igor invited him to several insurance companies in Russia. And another, my guest, Igor Kosolapov, he is a founder of the local financial association for advisors. And next guest, Andrei Paskin, he is also financial advisors. He's more than 20 years in this industry, and right now he's in the real estate from Cyprus. He sells real estate from Cyprus. So here's some words about me. My name is Mikhail Petrov, and I'm financial coach and financial advisor and member of $1 Million Round Table since 2009. It's my 10th year already here. And this association, it's about share ideas, about ethic, about share pieces of advice, how to attract clients, how to serve clients, how to be with clients. And my main idea to be today with you guys, just share what happens in our world with our partners, with clients, so on and so forth. So please, Michael, my first question to you: do you feel something new with according to this world situation, connected especially with your business?
Well, I think the first thing is I've been doing this for 31 years.
Wow.
And 2008 was, again, the time period in Russia and in Canada and the US and globally is a little bit different, but 2008 was really hard when we had the big sell-off. And what I did was I was almost paralyzed, but I made a point of picking a certain number of clients that I would phone every single day, no matter what. I'm just going to say for fun that the number is 10 people. So I just phoned 10 people every day. And then at the end of a week, I had 50 people. At the end of 2 weeks, I had 100 people. And then I just start phoning and phone over again and over again and over again. And just sort of say, you know, things are down, they're going to stay down again, whether it's insurance or investments, and the products are different country to country and all of that. So I just want to talk in generality, but basically what happens is when you sell insurance or you're a financial planner, you sell investments, you're selling people on saving for the future, and you have to always sell them on that the future is going to be a bright future, okay? You can't say that the future is going to be bad, because if you think that the world is a better place today than it was 10 years ago, and it's a better place today than it was 20 years ago and 30 years ago, and we get caught up in the problems of today and we think that everything is bad. But I think of today, the smartphone, that I'm here for free right now on the internet, broadcasting around the world, and it's not costing anybody any money. And I'm doing this on a phone that's about this big, and I get instant emails and instant messages from my wife and kids and clients and all that stuff. And I have instant access to medical technology and anything that I want to do for my life. And so I need you to make sure that you understand that the world is a better place now than it was 10 years ago and 20 years ago and 30 years ago, and that the world is going to be a better place 10 years from now than it is today. And I don't care what country you're from, what your struggles are. Everybody has different struggles at different periods of time, and the same struggles. But at the end of the day, if you just keep on calling people and talking to people and talking to them about the future, if you don't talk to anybody, nothing is going to ever happen. Okay? So you have to, if I today decided I was just not going to phone, I don't care whether I'm in the business 1 year or 10 years or 50 years, it doesn't matter. If I stop phoning people, my business is going to disappear. So what I have to do is every day I have to ask myself, let's talk about your business and let's talk about your life. Okay. So in your business, what do you have to do every day? And I'm going to use just a simple number here. If you want to make $100,000 a year and you go on 1,000 appointments every year, it means every appointment is worth $100, whether you sell somebody or you don't sell somebody. How many people do you have to talk to in order to get those appointments? So the secret in this business, and really in all kinds of businesses, is to just keep going and keep doing. Ask yourself, I don't know if this will translate very well, the fundamental things. What are the most important things that you have to do in order to be successful? And so if I look at myself as an insurance agent or a financial advisor, I say, how many people do I have to talk to every day? And how many of them are current clients and how many of them are new prospects? And how many appointments do I have to go on every day? And then you take your income and you divide it by the number of calls or the number of appointments. And then you come up with a dollar figure that says if you make $100,000 and you had 1,000 appointments, every appointment was worth $100. And I'm just using a simple number here. And if you talk to 2,000 people in order to get the 1,000 appointments, every phone call was worth $5. And so if I go today and I come into work and I know that every call is worth $5 or whatever the number is, if I get on the phone and I make 10 phone calls or I send out 10 emails to people, not a blanket email, but like a real email that says, hey, Igor, I want to sit down with you, or hey, Mikhail, or hey, Olga, I want to sit down with you. It doesn't matter whether any of those people want to sit down with me or not. I look at it that I made $5 for every appointment or every email that I sent out. So if I sent out 10, I know that I made $50. Maybe I made nothing today, but tomorrow I'll send out 5 and maybe I'll make $1,000. But the worst thing that you could do is stop talking to people. Because if you stop talking to people, your entire business is going to stop. And yes, times are hard. And yes, now instead of maybe sending out or making 10 calls and getting 5 appointments, maybe you have to make 15 calls to get 5 appointments. Maybe the phone calls have to be over the internet. If the phone calls are over the internet, it'll be a lot more effective for you. You could do more phone calls. So, you know, I don't want to say that there aren't problems, because there are problems, okay? But what are the solutions? So what are we going to do? Are we going to focus on the problem, or are we going to focus on the solution? And so I just need you to know that you're always going to have problems, okay? But what you get paid to do is you get paid to solve problems. So what happens is, if I took all of your problems away, nobody would pay you very well. But you need to be like a sign of hope for people, because if everybody stops, nothing will happen. So you have to start doing something.
Someone should do
question
it.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
But Michael, what do you usually talk to your existing clients? What's the phone calls contains of?
Okay, most of my phone calls,
Yeah.
most of my clients, and again, I really need to make sure everybody understands that the products and the philosophies about saving and insurance and all that are different from country to country. In my country, people go to school, they graduate, they work for 30 years, they retire, some get a pension, some don't, and we talk to them about saving enough money to live on during retirement. And so I'm mainly somebody who deals with people for saving for retirement, okay? So maybe that's not what you do, but that's what I do. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I deal with their investments, and they start with me and they're 25 or 35 or 45 years old, and they have a certain amount of money, and I tell them how much money they need to save, and we do a financial plan with financial planning software. And again, maybe stuff like this is available to you, but maybe it isn't. But there's all kinds of stuff online that, regardless of the philosophies on saving and retirement and all that, people understand that they need to have money. People that have money make the rules, and people that have no money follow the rules, okay? So if you have no money, you will follow the rules. And if you have money, you will make the rules. So regardless of whether we have a good economy today or if we have a bad economy today, somebody's like, if the tide is high or the tide is low, all the boats go up and down together. Mm-hmm. And so if you're doing all of the right things and everybody else around you isn't, you're going to end up as the boat that's higher. And so you have to ask yourself, what are the most important things that are going to make you successful? And what are the most important things that are going to make your clients successful? And you need to go out and you need to tell that story. And you need to do it over and over and over again. And maybe a lot of people will say no. And maybe because things are tough right now, maybe even more people will say no. But it doesn't matter how many people say no. How many people in Russia? About 140 million people, right? 150 million people? Okay. So,
nobody knows actually, but yeah.
Okay, but all those people, they're as life goes on, they're going up or down, and the people that are trying the hardest, things are working out for them, and the people that are sitting there doing nothing, saying that the world is not a good place. So what could you do? Could you read any books? Let me ask you this question. How many books, if you look what you do, I look at myself and I say that I'm an expert for investing or insurance or financial planning. I look at myself as an expert in that. And I look at myself and I say I'm an expert on influencing people or selling. And if I was really good at influencing you, that would be the most important thing. Or if I was really good at insurance or investments, it'd be the most important thing. Well, if I knew everything about insurance, but I didn't talk to anybody, nobody would ever buy any products and the world wouldn't be better. But if all I did was over here, I just was good at influencing you, but I didn't know what I was doing. I could sell lots, but maybe I wouldn't be doing good. So you need to be able to be good at influencing people, and you need to be good at the product or your expertise, okay? But you have to talk to people. And if I come up to you and I go, Igor, how old are you right now? 45?
56. No, I'm 39 actually.
39, okay.
No, Michael,
Younger.
actually,
Younger.
no, as I understand, you are telling the basics to the people, like
Well,
the need for
but
retirement, for the protection. But if the client asks
okay.
what
Well,
happened
but
with
here's,
the stock exchanges, with all the market
I know,
goes down,
but this is
what
the
usually
most important. This is the most important thing. If I go, well, maybe it's not the most important, but if I go and I look, and again, I'm going to use just North America, and for Russia, it's a little bit different, but it's all the same. If I go and I look at the stock market returns, okay, I look at stock market returns, I look at unemployment, I look at how good the economy is doing, I look at inflation, I look at all of these different things, and I go and I look, let's just say 1940 to 1950, that 10-year period. Then I go 1950 to 1960, and I look at that 10-year period. 1960 to 1970, 1970, all of these 10-year periods. And I go and I 10-year period, 10-year period, 10-year period, 10-year period, 10-year period. And I go and I look and I say, what was the stock market returns during that 10-year period? Some of the 10-year periods, it was good, some it was bad. I look at unemployment. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. I look at inflation. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. Let me add in world wars. Let me add in pandemic. Let me add all. So every 10-year period, I look, the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They were all different. Those are all things that you have no control over, 100% no control over. But during every one of those 10-year periods, you look at all of the people that were alive. And I don't care whether you were 20 years old or 30 years old or 40 years old or 50 years old during those periods. So we have all of these different age groups during all of these different time periods with all of these different stock market returns and world wars and inflations and governments and bureaucracy and problems and everything. Everybody still had goals. During every one of those periods, everybody had goals. So what were people's goals? So let me ask you this, okay? And I don't care whether you're, for the people that are going to watch this, whether you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, okay? What are your goals? You know, you want to, have a spouse and kids and get them educated and have them hopefully live close by, and then you want to become grandparents and have your grandkids live close by, and you want to retire somewhere, hopefully maybe somewhere that's warm, and those are what your goals are. And those are still everybody's goals today. It doesn't matter whether we have Corona, okay, or whether we have
get people back to basics. That's
well,
that's
the thing is that life is going to go on. This is not the end of the world, okay? And I don't care what it is. It's not the end of the world. And so what happens is if people go and they say, this is the end of the world, well, if it's the end of the world, here's the thing. I don't know what your beliefs are, your philosophies, but no matter what, there's at least 6,000 years of recorded history, okay? So we have at least 6,000 years of recorded history. How many times in that 6,000 years was the world going to end, okay? And yet the world is still here. And the thing is that there's only one end to the world, okay? And this is not the end of the world. Are people going to die? Yes. Are people going to behave differently? Yes. Okay. Are people social distancing? Yes. How is that going to change? Well, I don't know, in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 4 months. But we're going to get back to normal. Okay? We are going to get back to normal.
Are you always call the people or use messengers and emails and all this stuff? Or maybe your assistant calling? How it technically works?
Well, there's a couple of things. And what I do is anytime when I'm dealing with people, I always send an email first. So if you were a client of mine I don't care whether you're a big client of mine, a medium client of mine, a small client. I probably have your cell number and I have your email address. So I like to use email for my business stuff, and I like to use texting for, I'm going to say, my personal stuff. So maybe you're like 50% my client and 50% my friend. So if I want to tell you a funny story or something like that, or I just want to chat with you about life, I'll send you a text and say, hey, Igor, give me a call when you're free. Evenings are better, or something like that. If I'm dealing with you on your business stuff, I'm going to send you an email saying, hey, Igor, I want to set up a phone appointment. When are you free over the next, week or 10 days? I'm available anytime on Thursday or anytime on Tuesday, whatever it is. And then you email me back and you say, this time's better. Then I go and I set up, forget about right now, in a normal scenario, I'll email you and I'll set up an actual appointment in my office. But I'll tell you that I want to talk to you on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes just before the appointment. So if I set up an appointment with you, I send you a text or an email, probably an email, and say, let's get together. The reason I send you an email is I can keep the email in a folder. A text is harder to do that. So now I send you an email. I say, let's get together. You okay? Fine. Let's get together next Friday. Then I go, okay, let's chat for 5 minutes on Tuesday. Just tell me when, or here's my cell number. Phone me anytime. So now you send me a call or you phone me or you do something. I go, okay, when you come in to see me, what are the 2 most important things that you want to, or the 3 most important things you want to talk about? Because I don't want to go and spend a bunch of time getting ready for an investment appointment or a retirement plan appointment. And meanwhile, you want to talk to me about saving for education for your kids, or maybe you just lost your job.
And in your general mailing list, I think you do some regular mailing to all the clients.
Well, we have really good software
situation.
If I go, I've spoken in, I'm going to say about at least 15 countries. And the philosophy in every country is different. In Canada, we have universal health care, so health care is looked after. We have a sort of a little bit of a good government pension, but you're mainly responsible for saving on your own, okay? If I go to another country, maybe they have no health care, maybe they have no pensions, then I go to another country, and maybe they have much more stable systems, or people that are employees that have really good pension plans where you basically are just a worker and then you retire and you get a pension. And so every country and every employee within every country is a little bit different. So in my country, people, they know they need to save money.
Okay.
If
Michael, some little bit, some new question, a little bit on another angle. It's your business. How many % in your business happens from referrals right now?
Well, I need to make sure I properly explain this. Again, because how products are distributed is different from country to country.
Yeah.
In my country, when I started 30 years ago, I was sort of more like, I'm going to call it an insurance agent, and I would sell a policy. I would get paid $1,000, and then I would make nothing after that. Then I would have to go and sell a new policy. Sort of like somebody that sells a house. They sell a house, they get paid today. Then if they don't sell a house for 3 months, they don't get paid for 3 months. That's how it used to be for me. How it is for me now is more where I have people's assets, I have their insurance, I have their money, and I get paid on an ongoing basis, a little bit every month on all of those people. So that's what my environment is like. So in my environment, my number one job, but just to keep this simple, if I have 100 clients that all have $1 million with me and I have $100 million, I need to phone all of those 100 people very regularly and keep them happy, because if I keep them happy, they will stay with me and I will make money off of that same 100 million next year. But if I was in the old environment from 30 years ago, and I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong, instead of me making a little bit every year off of a bunch of people and having almost an income that's like a pension plan, I'll call it, instead, I would have an income that's more like a real estate agent. And so I would be much more interested in looking for getting referrals to get new people to write business so I could make the $1,000, the $1,000, the $1,000, okay? So in my business, my interest is in keeping my clients, but my business 20 years ago and 30 years ago was in doing an individual transaction, selling it, getting paid, like I sell you a house or I sell you a car, and now I go to sell somebody else. And again, one is not right and one is not wrong. But if that's the environment, you need many more referrals. So what I would do right now, if I was prospecting in Canada, if I came into the business right now or I hired a junior associate, I would be phoning all of my clients and I would be telling all of my clients that we're available to offer a second opinion to anybody who's one of your friends or family members. So Mikhail, you're my client. You must be very, very disturbed by everything that's happening in the world today. And, you know, we've given you a link to this portfolio manager or this economist, or here's our views on the world. But you probably have many friends who are very concerned, just like you are concerned. And so what would you like me to do or forward, or would you be interested in forwarding them my email address or anything like that? And I'm happy to talk to them for 30 minutes or 45 minutes over Skype or Zoom or the phone and talk to them about their current situation and see if there's anything I can do to be of service. I'm going to just talk about Canada right now. The government is spending all kinds of money, that there's all kinds of different stimulus packages available. It doesn't matter whether you're an employee, an employer, you own a company, you're rich, you're poor, there's something is available right now. And so if I called you right now and said, you know, Mikhail or Igor, there's all kinds of different benefits that are available to you that I would like to explain to you, I think you would be very interested in talking to me about that. But the most important thing is, I think, whether it's a referral or an existing client, you need to provide value. So if you send me an email and you say, hi, Mike, how are you? That's fine because you're my friend, but there was no value. But if you instead, if I was your client or you were my client, and I sent you something saying, even that I'm available to talk to you, okay? It doesn't have to be a special report from, if all you did, Mikhail, was sent me an email instead of saying, hey, whatever, you said, I'm available to talk to you. You're probably very concerned about your situation, your job, the job of your kids or your family members, your parents who are in long-term care, you know, your mortgage, your car payments.
Can I speak the same topic on other words? The point is, sometimes our financial advisors in Russia have problems because on the second or third year, if the financial advisor have only insurance policy with the client, sometimes there are problems because clients forget the value of the insurance policy, and sometimes they just go out, and clients have problems to explain again the value, and sometimes they use investment programs to connect to create a case, because investment programs and life insurance programs works together, and then clients who could be happy. And what your question, your sentence was, I wanna create happiness for my
value.
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 Yeah.
I want, anytime I talk to you, I want to give you some value, okay? Because if I don't care, you as my friend, my financial advisor, if I phone you and I say, hi, Mikhail, how are you? And maybe you're my friend, okay? Because you are my friend from MDRT. And I tell you a couple of jokes, or I ask you a question about your family and I'm genuinely interested, or something, and you get off the phone and you have a smile on your face, or you have, your heart is a little bit warm, okay? You say to yourself, Mike is a good guy, okay? So if you say Mike is a good guy, it means that you trust me more. You find me more valuable. Maybe you think I'm an expert. I don't know. But this is what everybody in a room, okay? If this was 100 little dots on a screen, all 100 people in a room, my fingers, all moving around. So I come in a room and you come in a room and 100 other people do, you're going to gravitate towards some people, okay? And of those 100 people, one of those people will have maybe 10 people around them. And there'll be other people over here with nobody around them. So it's all how you influence people. And you influence people. I think that I have to ask you an honest question here, and I don't care whether I'm talking to you, Igor, or Mikhail, or anybody else on the webinar, or whether you're young or old, or whether you're successful right now, or you could be doing better, or what it is. You gravitate towards people. So what could you do to have people, if people need to trust you?
Yes.
Okay. They need to like you. Okay.
Yes.
And they need to think you're smart. Okay.
Of course. Yes.
So let's pretend that everybody here has the same amount of trust. Okay. Maybe you could make your trust higher or lower, but let's here's how much trust you have. Let's pretend everybody thinks you're smart. Okay. Because you said you're MDRT, or you said or you're new in the business, but you have a friend who's an expert. So everybody has an expert close to them. And then you look and you say, they have to like you. Well, if I trust you and I think you're smart, but I don't like you, I don't know. Maybe I'll still do business with you because I trust you and I think you're smart, okay? So what's more important? Is it trusting? Is it liking? Or is it being smart? I don't know. But I do know for sure.
It depends. Yeah, it depends.
I know for sure that those are the three most important things. So what could you do to have people trust you more? What could you do to have people like you more? And what could you do to have people think you're smart? Now, I understand where the economy is, okay? But I can't change that, and you can't change that, okay?
Yeah.
But we're all on a boat, and it's all going like this. So let's just say that there's 1,000 advisors in your city, and that they all make whatever, $100,000. I don't know. It doesn't matter what the number is.
Michael, sorry. Let's just go out and then come in again, because this conference is come to an end, and we just continue next session. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to hang up.
Right now. Go out and then come in again.
Like, you mean like walk out of the room, or you mean hang up?
The same room, same link. Yes.
To enter again to the room.
To enter again to the room.
Like this?
Okay.